Or change your blah 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 in advanced settings.
Yeah. Shoot. Well, we're. I guess we're going live like this then.
Are you just gonna hold it like that the whole
The
show?
whole time. Well, until my battery dies and I need to plug it in. Wow, this is terrible.
That's really bad.
This is why we need. This is why we need Andrew. Or you need to do it by yourself.
Among many other reasons that we need Andrew.
Can people hear us okay?
Should I turn it on my phone
and see how
it sounds?
I'll try and I'll make sure we're recording. Okay, it looks like we're recording okay on this thing. So I will stop that and start a new track for you to do for your editing stuff later.
I'm gonna post it on our Facebook page as live now with no producer. Fingers crossed.
Okay. How do I? My dad says got it. Can hear you.
Nice.
So that's good.
That's a dub.
Okay. Why is it still showing? I want to delete this audio to give you like a nice spot to start from. I guess we'll just... I'm not confident in that whatsoever.
It's going.
Is it going?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dun, 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 dun. Do I look fancy drinking from this little coffee cup if I put my pinky up?
Is this our intro technically?
Yes, I think so. Little ASMR. I hate that kind of ASMR. If I were a listener right now, I would turn the show off.
Turn it off.
Just turn it off.
Immediately. Yeah. Maybe the intro music's still going under it, so it's not as bad.
Yeah, could be. How many of our listeners do you think usually turn on our show and then just immediately turn it off? Because there's a real possibility that happens anyway.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I know I do.
I haven't listened to our show in 3 weeks. Whoa. I got catching up to do.
My dad says fancy doesn't slurp.
Okay. So pinky up, no slurp. So if I...
What if you do like a...
I think the key is to keep it silent. Like pinky up, just silent sip.
You know what I'm learning now? Is we need Andrew more than just production value. Because we're just talking about how to sit fancy. And it's not going
This is good coffee, though.
It is good coffee.
Yeah.
My wife made it.
It's delicious.
And it was probably fancy, knowing like where we got it from.
Okay.
Was probably fancy. Just
the fancy coffee store?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Let's go with that.
Okay.
The fancy coffee store. This is the Scrimmage, kind of, I guess.
It's this week's version of it.
Yes. Oh, man. We need Andrew to hop on the chat and just yell.
Yeah, maybe we should text him. I'll see if he's home.
Yeah. We are sponsored, for now, until anybody sees this, by Spivey Realty Group and the law office of Jeffrey A. Domashevitz. Thank you very much to their sponsors. I'm Daniel Hargrove. This is Justin Domashevitz. Our producer, Andrew, aforementioned, not here.
As I just called him in this text, Andre.
Andre.
Yeah.
Oh, we should start calling him Andre.
Andre.
I have to sit so close to you to get on the screen.
We're going to have some intimate moments here.
Yes, we are. Shall we just get it going with the 2-minute drill?
Check, left, right, 82, hut, hike. Hand the ball to the ref.
On one. Ready, break. At least we got that part right. It was almost like we were a team.
I got everything wrong up till that point. Anyway, you get to read the first question.
That's true. Yeah, without the music, this feels weird.
It does feel weird.
We've been hearing a lot about coaches, about what... I think I wrote that wrong. I gotta say, quickly done work here on my part. We've been hearing a lot about coaches people would want for the Seahawks. I did write it right. Justin, which candidates would you not want?
I would not want Jim Harbaugh, and I would not want Bill Belichick.
I am with you 100%.
I like the idea of Mike Vrabel. I think I could be okay with Dan Quinn. Haven't really heard any other names besides that. Hi, Anchor. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, bud.
Football is more fun to watch when you have a rooting interest. Daniel, which remaining NFL team are you rooting for?
I am rooting for the Lions. I'm very much tired of the Niners and the Ravens and especially tired of the Chiefs. So hopefully the Chiefs lose tonight. Right now it's in the fourth quarter. They're playing against the Bills. But in case they don't, let's go Lions. You had a great basketball day yesterday, Justin.
I did.
Not only did your Montesano Bulldogs win, but also Unk won.
Yep.
University of North Carolina.
Yep.
And Duke lost.
Oh, to an unranked team.
It was like a trifecta with the bonus of Duke losing to an unranked team.
Yeah.
How is the ACC shaping up this year?
It's strong at the top. I think Carolina's really good. And I think, as much as I hate to say it, Duke has shown that when they play good teams, they're very competitive. They've lost a few weird stinkers to bad teams, so I don't get that. But it's not as strong of a conference as you would think it would be. It's definitely gone down the last couple of years, so it's not an up year for the ACC, but I do think Carolina is actually really good and could make a Final Four push. The Mariners, the Mariners need to add more. Daniel, what 2 players do you want them to get?
Well, I put 2 players because I am very vocal to anybody who will listen about why haven't they signed Blake Snell yet.
Mm-hmm.
So I figured that wouldn't be a surprise. And then I was planning on having more time to really dig in and research somebody else who I think would be a great fit for him.
Mm-hmm.
And then I didn't. So...
You put on here what 2 players?
Yeah.
Because you wanted to come up with a second player and then you didn't do it.
Yeah. But I was thinking that, okay, so I do have a couple of players who are options.
Okay.
And I think that would have been a great spot for like the
oh, yeah.
Yeah, right there.
Did Rosarena get traded yet?
That's what I was going to say.
Okay.
Rosarena has not been traded yet. And Whit Merrifield, I think, is another option who I would be okay with. So those are of those 2 guys, I would much prefer a Rosarena, but I'd also be okay with Whit Merrifield.
What team does he come from?
He comes from the Blue Jays most recently, but before that he played for the Royals, I believe.
He's a hitter?
He's not the type of hitter you'd probably want.
Okay.
Like, he's not a big power guy.
Not a guy who gets hits and scores runs and stuff?
He gets a lot of hits.
Okay.
He's not a power guy.
Okay.
He's more like hit singles, get on base, play good defense, play second base and corner outfield. So, kind of that type of thing. But I would rather have a Rosarena. I want that star power flash with just all the fun that he brings.
Has there been any change in the general storyline that it seems like they just really don't want to spend money? Because they cut, and I'm not even really saying that their roster is way worse off than it was before.
Right.
But they were supposed to go out and get better.
Yep.
And they didn't do that. If anything, they've made lateral moves.
Yes.
So, do you think they still have money to spend and moves to make? Or are they pretty much going to stand pat with what they have?
I think they have a little bit of money to spend, and I think that if they wanted to go the trade route, that there's definitely opportunity for that. The thing about the money to spend, if they got Blake Snell, that would be a lot of it, but everything you hear is that he wants to play in Seattle so bad.
Yeah.
It's where he lives. Apparently he just started a youth baseball team and bought him a bunch of swag and was seen hanging out with them, and it's a Seattle team, and he's here, he lives here, he wants to play here. I gotta think he's gonna give him a little bit of a discount. So just get it freaking done.
Yeah.
And
it's also a good park for pitchers.
Exactly. It's a great park for pitchers. He's coming off a Cy Young, and I don't know. It seems like a match made in heaven. Some people are like, oh, well, his strategy, he walks more guys than they like. But you know what? They sign guys who strike out all the time, and that doesn't seem to keep them from doing that. So I don't know. I don't see why they don't do it. And then if they sign him, then he's looking at the show sheet that I didn't need to print out. Then it leaves you room to make a trade with maybe another pitcher to get somebody like a Rosarena. Yeah. So that's my thought process. Will it happen? Probably not. So that's my thought. When you're looking at, you mentioned Vrabel.
Yeah.
I think that would be the person who'd get me the most excited. But I also would like somebody that I haven't heard of.
Mm-hmm.
What I don't want is the retread. Like, this is this guy's 4th time or something like that.
Isn't that Dan Quinn?
Yeah. So I guess I don't really want Dan Quinn.
Yeah.
Vrabel, I just think that he kind of got the short end of the stick in Tennessee.
Yeah, it's a weird one.
So that's why I'd be okay with it.
They got in a weird spot with their roster where they kind of knew they were hanging on a little too long with Derrick Henry and Ryan Tannehill. You know, they couldn't spend the money under the salary cap to re-sign A.J. Brown. So they decided to, draft a receiver instead to replace him and spend their money elsewhere, and then those moves didn't work out. And I think overall the general feeling of analysts is that he perhaps even maybe overachieved a little bit with the rosters that he's had. I mean, he's won 2 road playoff games in his career as a head coach. So I feel like he's done a pretty good job. He's not the creative offensive minded guy that I feel like you've kind of wanted, like a Mike McDaniel, someone from the Shanahan tree, or like a Sean McVay or something like that. He isn't that. He's more of a defensive minded guy, and he's one of those super high intensity. He had some very famous comments about what he would do to win a Super Bowl, and one of the things he said was he would be willing to lose a piece of male anatomy to win a Super Bowl, and people really ran with that, and that sort of became in a way who he was for a little while. Is he's the guy who'd be willing to give up everything.
Gotcha.
So I do think he's a good coach, and I think it would be exciting to have him. But I don't think he would necessarily bring that creative offensive stuff that you're looking for. So they probably would still be depending quite a bit on Shane Waldron to work some of the McVay stuff, or bring in another offensive coordinator who could make a more creative offensive game plan with a lot more motions and, the kind of things that people are always looking for with misdirection and stuff. So Vrabel, definitely a guy I'd be okay with. I can tell you one thing for sure. I would be very upset if and I don't even really think that Harbaugh is significantly linked with Seattle, but he's just one of the guys that's coming up in every good NFL coaching spot right now. And I would just be really upset if Seattle hired Jim Harbaugh.
Me as well. Yeah.
I really don't like that guy.
I don't want to go down that road.
Yeah.
So many people are like, oh, but he's won everywhere he's gone. And it's like, but is it worth it?
He also wears out his welcome pretty quickly everywhere he goes.
That's a good point. Yeah. I mean, he's won everywhere he's gone, but there's a reason why he's been multiple places.
Yeah.
Very quickly.
And it's not because he failed as a coach.
No, that's a good point.
It's because people know like him.
All right. Let's see. I had to make Anchor sad there.
Yeah, well, he was kind of playing with that mirror a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, he's smart enough to not break the mirror.
Yeah.
But then he started playing with things that he knows he's not supposed to play with. And so...
Because he thinks he wasn't being supervised.
Exactly. But I was half supervising him. Yeah. All right. Anything else we want to get to from the 2-minute drill?
Nah, we got all kinds of time to talk about this stuff.
Okay, yeah, that's
You want to talk about how I'm a 49ers fan now? Or...
How did this happen and why?
I just decided it.
But why?
Because when Pete Carroll got fired...
Okay.
Then I was like, okay, Russ is gone, there's no more LOB.
Right.
Pete Carroll's gone. I wasn't a Seahawks fan before. And that was the thing, the Pete Carroll era with Russ and the Legion of Boom is that was my emotional tie to the team.
Right.
And now I'm I just kind of don't have one. So
That's a good point.
I just kind of went, hey, Rob, to our friend Rob, I was like, you got any room on the Niners bandwagon? He was like, sure, room for all. And I was like, all right, I'll root for the Niners now.
Why the Niners, though? Why not?
Because they're good.
Any of the other... Yeah, but there's other good teams. You, picked the worst of... No, you could have picked the Chiefs.
Well, Christian McCaffrey is my fantasy running back.
Oh.
And I also have Deebo Samuel.
Okay,
and
so you got a strong fantasy.
Brock Purdy, that's your kind of quarterback.
It is true. Not gonna lie, if Brock Purdy wasn't on the Niners, I'd be really excited. Is this where I start to transition into a Justin style of fan? Because I was a before the Russell Wilson era,
Mm-hmm.
I was a casual Seahawks fan.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, oh yeah, they're the Seattle team. I like them for that. Go Matt Hasselbeck. But I didn't really grow up watching football like I did baseball or basketball or college football. And so I was tied very closely with Russell because that was like our big thing.
Yeah.
Was before the draft, we were saying we want Russell Wilson, and then they drafted him.
Yeah.
And then we were saying he's going to be the starting quarterback. Well, infamously, you weren't, but Andrew and I were.
Mm-hmm.
And
I wanted him to be.
yeah. So now do I just turn into a Justin type of fan and find my favorite player and root for him? Who is my favorite player, though? I'm not even sure if I have. Well, Tyler Lockett's my favorite player.
Yeah. He's not very good anymore, though.
That's a load of crap. Those are fighting words, my friend.
He's okay. He's mid. Straight facts. No cap.
You are going to get smacked in the face. My dad said he was a Niners fan when John Brody was there.
I have no idea.
I have
who
no
that
clue
is.
who John
No
Brody
idea.
is.
That you made that name up, sir.
That does make sense that he was a Niners fan. He grew up in Oregon, and the Seahawks didn't have a team.
I used to
Or
be
Seattle
a
didn't have
Niners fan when old Jake Johnstone used to play there. See, I can make up names too.
Old Jake Johnson.
Old Jake Johnstone, that's what they called him.
Oh, man. If any of the Beavers quarterbacks would ever get a chance of the last however many years, then that could be my favorite team.
Yeah.
But
Your favorite team should be the Cowboys because that's where Brandon Cooks plays.
nobody likes the Cowboys, though. I mean, unless you're a Cowboys fan. Everybody hates the Cowboys.
Unless you like them.
Unless you like
Nobody
them.
likes them unless they do. Yeah.
Okay, well, it's now time to move on to my favorite part of the show.
Wait, I thought this was my favorite part.
Not today.
Oh.
Not today.
Okay.
It is time for Stump Daniel, but it's Stump Justin today, brought to you by the law office of Jeffrey A. Domashevitz.
No relation.
What's the A stand for? Justin, according to some random image I found on Google. Actually, I think it was not only a random image, but also there was like the answer to this question. I just looked up steak temperatures.
Okay.
And so you fancy yourself a grill man.
Okay.
I don't know if steak is your specialty or what you would consider your specialty.
Yeah.
What would you consider your specialty grilling?
Probably burgers, but
Okay.
I do like to grill steaks though.
Okay. All right. So this is you have to match the temperature
Okay.
to how done it is. Is that the term?
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, I was gonna say how well done it is, but well done is obviously charcoal. So
Right.
no.
Yeah. Don't
So-
be like Kyle Wisdom and eat your steak well done with ketchup on it.
Oh,
Oh, this
Kyle.
should be banned from eating steak ever again.
that's the worst.
I mean, even without the ketchup, if you like your steak
I-
well done, please leave your steaks at the store for the rest of us.
I thought I trusted Kyle.
Nope.
But now I don't think I can trust him.
No, you cannot. even a pastor, you can't even trust
You
a pastor
can't
these
even.
days until you find out how they like to eat their steak.
Just horrific.
Yeah.
All right. So you get 2 points per question you get right. Do you want to just start naming off, or do you want me to start and ask you what temperature range is this?
Dealer's choice.
Okay. I'm gonna say we'll start at the bottom.
Okay.
Starting from the bottom.
Okay.
What temperature is rare for steak?
I would say, and I think as a disclaimer here, if you go look up if you go do a Google image search that says steak temperatures,
Yeah.
you're gonna get 5 images that give you different temps for rare, medium rare, and all that stuff. So there's
Most
a
of them-
little bit of variation in them.
They're pretty similar though.
Okay.
That's what I was noticing is they're pretty similar, and the list I went with is also fairly broad. So
Okay.
I feel like you should do really well with this.
I think-
if you get 10 points, you're in the Tar Heel zone, and you would have to. I mean, I feel like you should only miss 2 of them at tops. So if you
Rare.
miss more than 2 and end up with 6 points, then you're in the Dukes.
Well, and then the other thing is like I don't cook my steaks to well done or even medium well, so I don't know.
Right.
But I'm gonna say rare is around 110.
That's incorrect.
Oh,
Yeah.
what does it say?
Rare. Well, I feel like if I...
Okay. So,
I'm going to have to make a quick rule change here.
okay.
You have to list, but you do get that as a hint.
Okay.
But from here on out, you have to list the range, or you have to list the temperatures.
Okay.
And if it falls within the given range,
Okay.
then you get a point for each one. I can't say what each one is because I feel like then it would easily lead to the correct answer from there on out.
You're right.
You understand?
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
For sure. Okay.
So
you want me to just go through and tell you what I think all the different ranges are?
yes, and that you missed the first one,
I
but I will give that to you as your lone hint. All right.
So now
start
I have
with
to think to myself if am I over or under?
right.
And I don't.
So
And you were saying that was not within 10 degrees of the. It's not within the range that you had. It's like
Right.
not even within the range.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So that might be low. Although, when I was in a phase where I was eating my steaks really rare, I did once go to a restaurant and tell them, when they asked how I wanted it cooked, I said, just brown it. And they said, we can't do that. So I ordered it medium rare.
Why didn't you just say rare then?
Because the restaurants get weird about giving you rare steak anymore. They never cook anything rare.
Oh, that's dumb.
Yeah.
Well, also,
once I went to Olive Garden, and I ordered a steak medium rare, and it came medium well, no pink inside.
see, here's the thing. My dad's one of the few people watching. He's, by the way, he said whatever name that was a quarterback in the late
Old Jake
60s.
Johnstone.
Yeah. Anyway, I was gonna say. What was I gonna say? Oh, my dad and I, when ordering steaks at a restaurant, we both order the same thing, except I know that I'm gonna get what I want, and I know that he's not gonna get what he wants.
Okay.
So we both order medium rare.
Yeah.
Me knowing that I'm gonna get a medium steak.
Okay. Yeah.
And he's expecting a medium rare steak, and he
Yeah.
gets grumpy when he cuts into it, and he's like, "Ah,
That's a really good point.
that's not medium rare," and I'm like, "I know, it's perfect."
You should order it rare
Yeah.
if you want medium rare,
Yes.
knowing that the restaurant's going to play it safe.
Yeah.
But yeah, that one time at Olive Garden is the only time that I've ever said, the only time I've ever sent food back at a restaurant.
You sent it back.
I did. And we were there
I guess if
with
it's 2
we were
steps
there
up.
with another family, and I wasn't going to do it. And they were like, "No, if it's not what you ordered, you should tell them." And I was like, I don't really want to do that. And they were like, "No, if it's not what you ordered, you should tell them. You just paid like $24 or whatever it was, some ridiculous price for that steak.
Yep.
You should get what you ordered." And so I told them, like, "Hey, I'm really sorry. I ordered this medium rare, and there's no pink inside whatsoever." They're very apologetic.
Yeah.
They made me a whole nother steak. They said, "Keep the one that you already have, and we'll also bring you another one." The
Nice.
next one also came medium well. So I was like, you know what? Not worth it. I'm just going to eat my 2 steaks. I'm going to eat 2 full meals, and we're going to move on with our lives.
Did you put ketchup on it?
No, I'm not. I'm no Kyle Wisdom. I'll tell you that much. All right, so I'm going to say, since I've already gotten the first one wrong at 110,
Yes, but that's your hint. You get another shot at it.
I must be low. Your face tells me I'm high.
No.
Um,
I thought we were making a face because we heard my son crying in the other room.
oh no, none of that phases me. Okay, so let's go rare at 150. Do I get to pick again on that one?
Yes.
Rare at 115.
Okay.
I usually cook my steaks to 125.
Okay.
Because I think that's kind of somewhere between medium and medium rare.
Okay.
That's because, and then my wife doesn't have to feel weird about the kids eating undercooked meat. So I'll say 125 is medium rare.
Okay.
135 is medium.
Okay.
140 is well done.
140 is well done.
Yeah. Or 140 is medium well.
Okay, I was gonna say.
medium well. And then if you're cooking your steaks to 150, then stop buying steaks. But I'll go 150 on well done. How did I do? Is this really bad?
So, I I didn't think this through very well.
Okay.
Because remember how I said I thought it should be easy because the ranges were wide? But once you start, when I switch the rules and you start with one.
Yeah. You're just incrementally going up for the other ones.
Yeah. So you just cascadingly got everyone wrong.
Okay. So it was high on everything.
You were low on everything.
It was low on everything?
Yeah. So according to the list I found, 120 to 130, which I feel is like super broad range for steaks, is rare. Medium rare is 130 to 140. Medium's 140 to 150. Medium well is 150 to 160, and well is 160 and over.
160 is the stop buying steaks level.
Yes, that's according to them. Now, I am curious.
It depends a little bit on what cut you get to and how thick it is and how much fat's in it and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense. Basically, you lost and you're making excuses.
Lucky for me, I have no shame.
Let's check this out here. So the first one pops up, steak temperature chart. And with that, you would have, with this one, you would have been, this one's more specific, and you would have been on it.
I got this steak doneness guideline from Websteront has extra rare at 115 to 120.
What's extra rare?
I guess it's like just brown it. And these are really close to what you had. Yeah, pretty much the same thing.
Yes. So
I didn't know extra rare was even a thing.
Neither did I.
Rare is 120. So medium rare. So if I pull, and is as a general rule, when you pull your meat off and then you let it rest, you want it to be about 5 degrees less because it's going to continue to cook a little bit while it's resting. So if I pull it off at 125, then it's going to be 130 before I serve it. So I suppose I'm serving, every time I make steaks, I'm serving what's a true medium rare.
Yeah, that
according
makes sense.
to this chart.
So that was one thing I was just going to ask you. So when it says let it rest, that's just it continuing to cook more. Is that the only reason that you let it rest? Is that it's still cooking? Or is there a reason like don't cut it within 5 minutes because it messes something up?
It like if you take that time where you're letting it rest, and I like to let it rest in foil so it stays warm, but like the time when it's off the high heat and it's starting to do like the cool down and the temperature's still going to go up a little bit, it like locks in all the juices and stuff. So if you cut into it too early, then you're not allowing it to do that work and it loses a little bit of moisture.
Right. Gotcha.
But yeah, I would go like as a general rule, you probably want your meat to rest 10 or 15 minutes after you're done cooking it.
Rob says local roundup yet, or did I miss it? You did not miss it. We're not even close. Well, I guess
we're semi-close.
Yeah, I guess that's what's coming up after a commercial break. Oh crap, I don't have any commercials.
We'll say the commercial breaks.
Are we doing that in post? Is that what's going on? I have way too many emails here.
Let's just say who the sponsors are and why they're cool, and we'll just go with that.
Did you get Rob's email?
Oh, cool. We can talk about that for sure.
Okay.
We got a few kind of random things because I also have something for wrestling from Monty, and then we have a goals update from Coach Eddie as well.
Yes.
So we will do those as a part of / after the main roundup.
Gotcha. Rob also said 150 is optimal medium rare. According to this,
you're tripping,
that is
Rob.
On the high end of medium. Sir.
Rob, stop buying steaks.
And then he said sear the surface.
Yeah, he's right about that.
I think he's on with that one. Live read. Oh, that's the thing that's on my phone that I can't get on my computer. Is the live read of the commercial that I normally live read.
Let's just wing it.
I could just bring it right up to my face.
Why don't we just instead of doing the other commercials, we'll just talk about our sponsors and why they're cool.
I like that.
We'll do like a live style read like they do on some of the radio shows. Yeah.
Or on podcasts.
Fancy. Yeah.
Yeah, he also says it keeps the juices in after cooking it on the heat.
Accurate, but 150, Rob, that's too much. Too much.
All right, so now would be a great time for one of those times where we talk about our sponsors.
Yeah.
So, our sponsor, the Law Office of Jeffrey A. Domashevitz, excellent attorney, helped us out a lot when we were deciding to create our LLC. Is that what we are?
Yep.
It's been a while.
Yep, we are an LLC.
Yes. So that was a huge help for that. Oh, you actually brought up information.
I did. Because I was like, I almost said my dad.
Oh.
I know that Jeffrey A. Domashevitz, no relation,
Yes.
is a civil litigator, but sometimes people don't always know what that means.
What is a civil litigator?
It's basically a person who sues people for money.
Oh,
So like
okay.
being in civil law instead of criminal.
It's not criminal
law.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And that he generally is not the one who represents people who are being sued. He represents people who are suing, like companies or insurance companies or whatever, or other people or anything like that. But anyway, medical malpractice, personal injury, real estate, business law, those are kind of the things he specializes in. He also does wills and estate planning and stuff like that.
Maybe this is showing how worried I am about getting old.
Yeah.
But my wife and I were just talking about, like, what do we need to do to have our will done?
You need
and enough that, it'll just be quick and simple. Because it's not like we have too much stuff.
Yeah.
But we just don't want, like, the government to have it tied up waiting for anything.
Or your children.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want the government to have any say over what happens to your children. And if you have a will, then it's all spelled out.
Okay. So we need to talk to, I almost said your dad, but the law office of Jeffrey A. Domashevitz.
No relation.
How to make a will.
Yeah. And so you can call him at 360-612-3991.
360-612-3991.
Or you can visit DomashevitzLaw.com. That's DAMASIEWICZLAW.com.
I'm glad you spelled it. I was going to give it a shot, and I was like, I might choke.
Yeah. It is important, actually, to have a will.
Okay.
Which is something that, even though I have free access to it, I haven't done yet.
You should probably have that.
But I should have it done.
Yeah.
We should both have it done.
We should.
Let's do it together.
Should we have a joint will?
Yeah.
I feel like this is going to benefit me.
No, it'll benefit no one.
I think, yes, we do need to have.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because who knows with life? Life is weird. I don't want to start
Life's weird, and then you die. And if you don't have a will, the government might try to take your children.
That's the worst. You just went like worst case scenario.
So call 360-612-3991 to prevent that from happening.
It's now time.
The local sports roundup.
Yes.
The
that the
WSFCA. Yeah, that's how it starts, right?
The start to Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
No,
Very similar.
I was trying to do like how it starts with like the surfer, like
right. Yeah, like the. Yeah, I guess it's.
Well, no, you did it better.
Did I?
You do it, and then we'll start.
You have to do the hand motions.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Me too.
Yeah.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
The WSFCA announced its all-state football teams this week, and several local athletes were named. A trio of Montesano Bulldogs earned the first team nod. Gabe Bodwell as a running back, Camden Taylor as an offensive lineman, and Peyton Domashevitz as a linebacker.
Hey, I know that guy.
Raymond South Bend's Farrell Johnson also received first-team honors as a kick returner.
Ooh.
Taylor and Domashevitz both are weighing several college offers and plan to continue their football careers.
Did you say Babe Gobwell?
I did say Babe Gobwell.
Aberdeen's boys basketball team picked up its third league win on Tuesday, 72-49, taking down Centralia. They had no answer for Manny Garcia, who had 31 points. Holy crap. Baylor Buckets Ainsworth added 12.
Elma's boys basketball team started its week with a 78-30 rout of Eatonville on Tuesday. Kason Seaberg led a balanced Eagle offense with 15 points. 14 points and 11 rebounds. Grant Vesey scored 13 points, while Traden Carter and Isaac McGaffey chipped in 10 apiece. So that was 5 Elma Eagles in double figures there. Elma then defended its home court on Thursday with a 60-49 win over Hoquiam. Seaberg led the Eagles with 21 points. Carter added 11 points and 5 assists, and Carter Studer scored 10 points and pulled down 12 boards. Lincoln Nemi and Xander Jump each scored 15 points for Hoquiam. Then Elma capped its week with a 52-42 non-league win over Raymond to improve to 11-6 on the season. That Raymond win was on Saturday.
Andrew just hopped on the chat and said good grief. So I can only imagine he's talking about our high level of production value.
That and the really good commercial we did.
Hoquiam boys basketball team picked up its first league win on Tuesday night, 65-61 in overtime at Montesano. That had to hurt. Grizzly freshman Lincoln Nemi led all scorers with 24 points, including 7 in the overtime period. Aiden Butcher led Hoquiam with 13 rebounds. The Grizzlies won the rebounding battle 56-49 and grabbed 24 offensive rebounds. DeLon Chan led the Bulldogs with 20 points, and Hoquiam ended its week with a 79-44 win at home over Schmietenville on Saturday.
Montesano bounced back from its loss to Hoquiam with a 55-53 upset win over previously league undefeated Tenino. DeLon Chan led the Bulldogs with 22 points, 14 of those coming during the third quarter, which Monty entered trailing 31-23, but ended leading 43-41. The Bulldogs also picked up a 52-38 win on Saturday at Aberdeen to improve to 12-5 on the season.
Elma and Tenino currently are tied at the top of the league at 4-1. Hoquiam and Montesano are 2 games behind at 2-3, and Eatonville is bringing up the rear at 0-4.
It has been a really interesting season, and the crazy part is Elma and Tenino at the top, both at 4-1. Tenino lost to Montesano. Elma barely beat Hoquiam in the first time they played, and also barely beat Montesano in their first matchup, and those were both one-score games. So those 4 teams are really close to each other. North Beach picked up a key boys basketball win on Tuesday, 59-40 over Acosta. Tyrell Hovland stuffed the stat sheet for the Hyaks, racking up 21 points, 10 boards, 4 blocks, and 4 assists. Jade Charlie added 14 points and 4 assists, and Tyrell Curry Sith recorded 12 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 steals. Taryn Lewis led the Wildcats with 14 points.
Acosta rebounded from its loss to North Beach by beating South Bend 72-39 on Thursday. Taryn Lewis led the Wildcats with 19 points, 7 rebounds, and 4 assists. Jesus Agramon added 13 points, and Caden Turner scored 10. South Bend's Adam Mora led all scorers with 20
points.
20 points.
Everything okay there?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just said 20 instead of 20 points.
Oh,
that
okay.
was it.
Raymond,
were you just waiting for the points?
Well, I wasn't. You kind of like you sort of tailed off in a way that confused me.
Sorry.
That's okay. Raymond's boys. I'm easily confused. Raymond's boys basketball team picked up a 56-47 home win over Forks on Thursday. Christopher Quintana led all scorers with 21 points. Austin Snodgrass added 19. Talon Yearout grabbed 16 rebounds for the Seagulls.
That's a lot.
Yes.
He said stalling because he lost his place on the local sports roundup. Led by a stellar performance by sophomore Anna Davis, Acosta picked up a 62-30 home win over North Beach on Wednesday. Davis scored 26 points and grabbed 21 rebounds.
Yeah.
Including 11 offensive on the glass. Alexia Bradley also recorded a double-double for the Wildcats with 12 points, and somehow there were still 12 boards left to be had. 8th grader Brister Toll, not real, added 8 points, 6 assists, and 4 steals. She is a real person, I guess. We have confirmed that.
I believe, unless there are multiple people from different sources trying to confuse us, we believe Bristol Toll is a real person.
Okay, gotcha.
Aberdeen's girls basketball team defended its home court on Wednesday, beating Centralia 49-38. Recent Spivey Athlete of the Week, Annie Troe, led the Bobcats with 19 points and 6 steals. Bentley Brown added 11 points. Aberdeen was back in action on Friday and beat Tumwater for the first time in 10 years.
Let's go.
Led by Annie Troe's 13 points and the stellar defense of Zoe Troe, the Bobcats won at Tumwater 38-32.
Nice.
Jalen Fimisone and Sophia Knutson each grabbed 10 rebounds for Aberdeen.
That's awesome. Montesano's girls basketball team continued to dominate the Dominate the Evergreen Way League this week with that's not real numbers. With a 54-13 win at Hoquiam on Tuesday, Lex Stanfield led the Bulldogs with 18 points and 14 steals.
14 steals.
What?
I emailed the coach to confirm that was real because I didn't believe it.
What?
14 steals. He couldn't tell me if it was a school record, but he it's the most he's seen since he's been coaching there.
Yikes. Teander Olson chipped in 15 points and Jilly Dalen added 10. Monty locked up the league title with a 64-22 win over Tenino on Friday. Dalen led the way with 25 points and 10 boards. Olson added 11 points, 8 steals, and 5 assists in that matchup.
Elma's girls basketball team beat Hoquiam 45-28 on Friday at Hoquiam Square Garden. Kiki Bowl led the Eagles with 12 points, and Malia Sibbett added 11. Lexi LeBounty led the Grizzlies with 9 points.
Raymond South Bend's girls basketball team beat Chief Leshai 69-13 on Wednesday. Cassie Koski led the Ravens with 22 points and 9 rebounds. Evelyn Stegall she just scored 19 points, and Ava Bauer pulled down 10 rebounds. That'll do it for our local sports roundup.
That'll do it for the written down portion of it.
Yes.
But as we mentioned, we've got some stuff from, I got a long text about wrestling.
Oh, and I got a long text about goals. And then also, we can do the weird Aberdeen box score later.
Okay.
I'll move that.
All right, so I'll start with the wrestling update that I got. So a review of Saturday from Montesano assistant wrestling coach Daryl White. Wrestlers placed in third in both girls and boys divisions at Auburn Mountain View. 5 JVs placed at Raymond, Roberts, and Roundtree Wrestlers of the Week. Despite being the only Class A team in a field of 17 squads, the Bulldog Wrestlers placed third with 157.5 points behind AAA Lincoln of Tacoma. So that'd be 3A? 3A Lincoln of Tacoma. I've just never seen it typed out like that. It confused me. 3A Lincoln of Tacoma with 288 and 4A Olympia High School with 188 in the boys division. And in the girls standings, only 4A Curtis with 186 points and 3A Lincoln at 132.5 outpointed the Bulldog ladies, who scored 105 points. So really big time. Man. I mean, those are some big schools that they're going up against.
Yeah, that guy named Curtis is huge.
But a field of 17 wrestling teams, and we're seeing that there are 4A and 3A schools there, and Montesano boys and girls coming home with third place, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Placing for the girls were Juliana Smith, who placed first in the 100 weight class, Carly Watson, fourth at 105, Addie Plummer, second at 110. Man, Addie Plummer must be busy. She's on cheer squad and drill team, too. And I see her at the basketball games, and it's like they're on cheer, and then they go like get their drill uniforms on and do the dance at halftime, and then go back to cheer. Crazy. So she finished second at 110. Sage Forsyth, fifth at 120. Angelina Brunzi, sixth at 135. Lexi Cisneros, fourth at 155. And Kaya Roundtree, that's a name I know, first at 170. Kiara Wisenhunt also won a match for Monty at 115. For the boys, Adam Schmitz placed 5th at 113. Cole Tobert, 5th at 132. Cole Kesbew, 2nd at 138. Right, these are young guys, man. Their team is young. Cole Kesbew, 2nd. Ryan Iverson, 6th at 150. Gage Stutzman, 2nd at 157. Reed Pace, 5th at 165. Gabe Pahala, 4th at 190.
There's a name I know.
Yeah. Kyle Eaton, 6th at 190. Felix Romero, another name you know, 5th at 215. And Logan Roberts, 1st at the 285 weight class. That's a name you would know if he had stuck it out for football. He would have been a good lineman for Monty, but he's a really strong kid and a good wrestler. Tournament highlights, in addition to Roberts, Smith, and Roundtree's championships, were finals appearances for Cole Kesbew and Gage Stutzman, along with Addie Plummer's second place finish. The Monty coaches were particularly pleased with Roundtree and Roberts' championships in two very tough weight divisions. 170 had more entrants than any other weight in the girls' tournament, but Roundtree literally tore her way into the finals.
Literally?
I guess so.
What does that mean?
Tore her way into the finals, pinning her first three opponents, including the state's large school number 7, rated 170, Castro of Auburn.
Did she rip somebody's arm off?
I don't know if this was like literally meaning literally or like literally like meant for emphasis. And now it means both things technically. So
it technically literally means
both things. So the state's number 7 rated wrestler from Auburn in the first round before squaring off against Curtis High's returning state champion Riley Nagar, who is currently rated number 1 in Washington's large school division at 170.
I mean, when you're a returning state champ, that's kind of assumed. That's crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy. And she beat all these people.
Like, wait, she beat the returning state champ? I thought she lost in the title round.
We're talking about Roundtree?
Yeah.
No, she won the...
I thought she took second.
Let me go back up and make sure. No, she won first at 170.
Oh my gosh, so she took out the reigning state champ?
From a higher classification.
That's nuts.
That is crazy. Yeah. And she beat her 12-3.
Oh,
wow. Kaya Roundtree.
Holy crap.
Yeah, so it was a sweet victory for Roundtree and provides ample evidence that her move back to Monty's team and the associated impact of drilling with some of Monty's tougher boys is paying off big time. According to girls coach Justin Gillespie, it was her best outing of the season.
I'd say so.
Kaya looked great in all positions, and she just wore Nager down. The next 3 weeks will be critical as both girls were exhausted at the end of the match. If Kaya will bear down and polish off her conditioning, she will have a real shot at a title. Heavyweight Logan Roberts' story was pretty much the same on the boys' side. Entering the championship bout, Roberts had pinned 3 straight opponents, and in the final meet, he met 285 Yusuf Hesham of Auburn Mountain View, the number 9 rated heavyweight in Washington's 3A division. In addition to Hesham, the field also included Lincoln's number 7 rated Bradley Amsden. In their final, Roberts and Hesham were tied 1-1 in a tight bout midway through the final period when Roberts caught the mammoth Auburn wrestler on his knees and drove him to his back for a pin. That's really good descriptive. I like that.
Yeah.
It was the greatest victory in Roberts' young career. He's only a second-year wrestler. The kid is beastly strong, though. I can tell you that for sure. But according to assistant coach Daryl White, who was in his corner, the match clearly showed that Roberts is maturing as a wrestler. White indicated that their heavyweight is learning to be patient, tire his opponents out, and then use his athletic ability to best advantage. At only about 5'7" and 245, most of Roberts' opponents tower over him.
Whoa!
According to White, Hesham was at least 6'3" and a full 285. Logan just plain wore him down, and it was a great victory.
Oh, crap.
Monty's coaches also indicated that Roberts is in the same boat as Roundtree as far as conditioning is concerned. Both are capable of placing highly at state, and conditioning will be critical for them. Roberts is one of the Monty wrestlers who has chosen to run optional morning sprints, and it appears that they may already be paying off for him.
Optional morning sprints.
Yeah.
Because wrestlers' practices aren't hard enough.
Yeah.
They're the worst.
Yeah.
So
wow, there is a lot more here.
A lot more.
And those were the champions that we talked about, and I think we did cover a lot of this.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of this I'm going to use as background. I'm going to read through it, so we'll be educated on wrestling going forward, and we can talk about these guys going forward.
Sweet.
Logan Roberts, I'm excited to see what he can do. I know with Gabe Paula and Felix Romero, those are a couple guys I expect to be competing for state trophies when that time of the year rolls around. And Kaya Roundtree, I know she placed at state. I think she was a state champ last year, if I remember right. I know that we had her in our wrestling coverage towards the end of the year, and she was competing with Aberdeen because I think either Monty didn't have a girls wrestling program or they didn't have enough kids for a girls wrestling program. So she competed with Aberdeen, even though technically when she got to the playoffs, she represented Montesano. She competed with Aberdeen all year.
Right.
So I believe...
I mean, the headline of this is balances competing for 2 schools and winning regional title. So she at least won the regional title last year.
Well, actually, do you want to read Coach Eddie's goals update? And I'll find... I think we might actually have in our stuff a graphic about what she did last year. Gotcha. So I'll look for that while you start on his update.
This is from Coach Eddie. And he sent a nice update here. So Saturday JB Fabian played with the WPL Surf Academy team. They won 2-1. As always, he put in a strong showing and almost connected with a bicycle kick that would have been the game winner, but they ended up winning anyway, so all good there. Also, the goals boys 05, the U19 team, played Nortac Sparta. Going into this game, both teams were coming off 3-0 season opening wins. The game ended in a 0-0 draw, so both teams remain unbeaten with the Gulls on top in the standings. Jazir Arenal picks up the shutout in his first game of the season in goal with a big number of saves. This was a 50-50 game where both teams had chances, including Gulls goal that was called back from a close offsides call and a header that Alan Avalos put off the crossbar. Also making their debuts was their French exchange student, Jules Dejour, and Ivan Rodriguez. You might recognize from their BO9 super team, and he plays for the surf team. Ivan has been training with the U19 team this season and fit right in being called up. The next game for the BO5 will be Saturday at 3:30 versus Mount Rainier. The girls 05 team won their second game of the season 4-1. Goals coming from Sam Roundtree. She had a pair, Ember Jones and Bethany Henderson. Assists from Chloe Dietrich, Scotland Lecompte, and Bethany Henderson. This game saw the return of Jemima Perez, who is back from injury.
That's a name I know.
Yeah, I'm kidding. My phone is getting blowed up here, which is hopefully is. I wonder if the video is like shaking every time I get a text. She was going to play in goal as Emmy was unavailable. However, Jemima was going to be late, so they put Dre Maras in goal. Dre stepped up and had some big saves in the first half and allowed one goal before being subbed out, and Jemima went in. Halfway through the second half, Dre went back into goal to give Jemima some field time and made 8 huge second half saves. She has limited training in goal, but the fact that she stepped up not once but twice and did that well to allow 1 goal and 13 saves says a tremendous amount about her character. Coach Eddie says very proud of her. Not only does this win keep the girls on top of the standings with a 2-0 record, they remain undefeated. They have never been beat in season play, making this their 12th in a row. Last Gulls team to do this was the boys 09 team, who had over 20 straight wins to start. The ladies' next game will be Saturday at Stewart Field versus Liverpool FC. Kickoff at 1 in the afternoon. They encourage everyone to come out to watch these teams as well as all of their Gulls team. They train and really should be witnessed live. Also, they would like to thank, this is nice. Also, they would like to thank all of us at the Scrimmage for all the support, and they appreciate you. And thank you so much for sending us all the information. It really is very impactful to us.
They make it easy for us to cover their stuff. Coach Eddie and Coach Daniel do, so that's nice. And one of these days we're gonna go watch these kids play in person.
Absolutely.
We actually had one time that we planned to do it, and then the plan blew up because of illness or some other stuff that was going on. I can't exactly remember.
He sent one more quick message. He said, "It's funny, following the girls' 6-1 win last week, one of them asked if all the games were going to be like this because she said it was boring. Then following the 4-1 win yesterday, I had an answer. We were playing at a higher level, so technically they shouldn't be dominating unless they are just that good, which they are. They are an impressive group, not necessarily a comment." Oh, shoot. That one said not necessarily a comment that needs to be shared. My bad. I should have read ahead.
Whoops.
Anyway, they're dominating, and I think that's kind of awesome that he said that because they're just playing at such a high level right now.
Yeah.
And I hope that not all of their games are boring, though. I'm assuming they're going to get some competition. They're playing at a higher level.
They're going to get competition.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Sorry. I feel bad now that I read that aloud.
That's okay. We'll just cut it out. Yeah. As a quick note, I read down a little further in wrestling, and I wanted to mention that, according to Coach Klinger, the Bulldogs are traveling to Aberdeen for a dual meet with the Bobcats that will feature JV and varsity. And then on Friday, Monty will host senior night duels. The girls are taking on Tenino, and the boys are taking on Rochester. And then on Saturday, Monty is hosting the boys' league duels, and will wrestle Tenino, Hoquiam, Eatonville, and Elma. And despite competing only in dual meets, the event should give coaches and fans a late season glimpse of the way things could go at next week's district tournament, which will be held in Elma. So we got some good wrestling happening if people are interested in going and checking it out over the next couple weeks. And they're close by because you'll have the league dual meets in Monty, and then you'll have districts in Elma the following week.
Nice.
And I don't know what Francis is like. Yeah. Francis sent a bunch of messages.
Yeah, about like Haley Van Lith and all this stuff.
Well, he knows how much you like Haley Van Lith, but he's also making fun of me because I couldn't find the CW network the other day. He's making fun of me because, all right, so here's the deal. We're going to get to Rob's swimming stuff in a second.
Oh, right. We still have Rob's swimming stuff.
But Francis is making fun of me because I was so frustrated. You know how, like, live sports are getting split up on all these different now. Yeah. So, like, Amazon Prime has some, Peacock has some. Now, there's some going out that are on the CW. And it's mostly Live Golf, but they also have...
Do you need more coffee?
Sure. They also have college basketball.
Okay.
And this is my first experience with a Tar Heels game being streamed live on the CW network, and I was like, well, how do I get that? I have Hulu Plus Live TV, and according to the internet, more ASMR.
Yeah.
Pouring coffee into a cup. According to the internet, Hulu Plus Live TV is supposed to have CW Network. So I was like, okay, no problem. Click into CW Network, no way to find it.
Shoot.
Nothing live. Can't find it. Go download the CW Network app. Can't find it. No way to find it. Go to the website. Do a bunch of Google searches. How do I find this stupid game? Can't find it.
Right.
So I went on to Twitter.
Yeah.
And I tweeted.
Okay.
Because I got a lot of Tar Heels people in my Twitter universe. And I was like, hey, does anybody know how to find this game? I have Hulu Plus Live TV. The internet says I should have it. Why can't I find it? Please help me. And I tagged Hulu and Hulu support in my tweet. And then Francis is making fun of me because he thinks I'm an old person who doesn't know how to find the basketball game. How do you find it?
The fact that you tweeted,
how do you get CW Network?
The only thing that would have made it worse is if you had, like, typed into Facebook, like, comment section, like, how find basketball? How find basketball now?
Francis says Boomer Talk Live.
That's our new pod name. So did you find it? Did somebody from Hulu support respond?
They did, with a very, very unhelpful general response, and didn't help at all.
So were you able to find the game?
I did, because I went into my Tar Heels group chat and said, hey, guys, please help me. I want to watch the game. And somebody was like, here's this completely legal link we have to a stream of the game. And I clicked on it and cast it to my TV and watched it. But I missed like the first half of the first half.
One of those completely legal links.
Yeah.
You just said the first half of the first half.
Yeah, so I missed...
Generally called a quarter, but except for in men's college basketball.
It's so weird.
Why are they the only sport that does halves?
I was told that even though, like, because women's college basketball is quarters too.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just men's.
It is.
But there's something about, like, because they do commercial breaks at the 4-minute marks.
Right.
So until they decide, oh, we can do more breaks instead of less breaks, they'll never switch it. Because the 4-minute marks, there's no clean break for a quarter. Because it goes 16, 12, 8, 4. So it's a money thing. It's commercial revenue.
But you're telling me that the NBA... is like
they play 12-minute quarters,
so they can do 4-minute breaks. Well, what was it? 20-minute halves? What's
20-minute halves in college.
Gotcha.
I think it's stupid.
It's dumb.
They really should just
really
switch
weird.
it. I mean, also, it's stupid, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly.
Circling back to Kaya Roundtree, she was 5th in state last year at 170.
Gotcha.
And then we have a email from Aberdeen/Hoquiam swimming coach Rob Burns.
Okay, this is for, let's see, you said the Kelso Invitational was postponed 1 week and was contested Saturday morning/early afternoon. Overall, the Bobcats finished second overall with 252 points. Host Kelso won going away with a large group of 2A, 3A, 4A schools in attendance. It was really tough to single out anyone, but there are a few to mention. Cole Nylander for his performance in the 100 breaststroke. Jacob Halleck in the 500 free. I think the 100 breaststroke is what Andrew used to swim. Andrew can maybe hop on the chat there and let me know if I'm right. Jacob Halleck in the 500 free. Denny Linker in the 100 free. Cooper Gill in the 100 back. And relays. And Tyson Powell in the 200 and 500 freestyles. Heading into the final week of the regular season, head coach Rob Burns says he's very proud and thrilled to see the performances this team is producing right now. He says there were a ton of time drops and personal best marked in that meet. Everyone is getting into their best shape going into the postseason, which, as Andrew would tell you, is what you want. Mm-hmm. What do you call it?
Tapering.
Yeah. On Wednesday, Aberdeen hosts Shelton on Senior Day at 4 in the afternoon at the YMCA of Grace Harbor.
I'd be curious that we should talk to Rob about whether or not they do tapering the way that Andrew described it in swimming. Because the tapering was basically like when you're going into the highest level of competition, you wear yourself out like insanely badly until a couple days before. And that way, when you get a little bit of rest, you come out like shot out of a cannon.
Yeah.
I think is the way he described it.
That's kind of how he described it, I think.
But he described it better.
What it leads to is some not as good times,
mm-hmm.
You know.
Leading up to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that. One of the things I like is when the coaches from these different sports tell us that, like, there are PRs and times are dropping, because one of the cool things about swimming, and it's sort of like track too, you're competing not only against other people, but even more than that, you're competing against yourself.
Right.
And I think if you, like, that's part of the reason why these communities are so supportive of each other. Because, like, yeah, you do want to beat the person next to you, but you're also just competing to do better than you did before.
Exactly.
And there's, like, an actual, literal measuring stick that has no other factor except just you against yourself.
Exactly.
And I appreciate the fact when they add those things in there.
Absolutely. Somebody asked us how old we are, I assume because we're talking about being old.
Yeah.
I'm old enough to be sad about it.
Who wants to know, you young whippersnapper?
Did I mention it's my birthday?
Yeah, like 3 weeks in a row now. I gave you a birthday present today.
You did. I am very excited about it. It matches my outfit.
Yeah.
Shockingly. How could you possibly have guessed that I would really be excited about this?
So do you want to go Beavs? Go Pac-2. Do you want to talk about any of the basketball games that we watched, the local games we watched this week? So you were at Tumwater Aberdeen boys.
Yes. Weirdest. I think I sent you a picture of it.
Yeah, you did.
Can you pull up the picture of the box score that I sent you guys?
Super weird.
I have never seen. I've covered a ton of high school basketball games. I've never seen a team, especially win by that much, and not have one player in double figures.
Not a single
one. And
was it in this group chat? I think it might have been in this group chat.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was. It was in the one that had more people in it.
Yeah.
So first of all, there was not one player for either team that had more than 8 points.
Yeah. And one of the teams scored a lot more points than the other.
Yes.
Because Aberdeen lost that game 59-27.
Yeah. And Tumwater had every player on the roster score. I've never seen that before.
This is their scoring totals. 2, 8, 2, 2, 7, 4, 4, 8, 6, 3, 7, 6. So, like, everybody had at least 2.
Yeah.
And 3 people had 2, 1 person had 3, everybody else had 4 or more, nobody had more than 8.
Yeah.
It's wild.
It's bizarre. I've never seen that before.
So weird. And the fact that nobody from Aberdeen scored over 10?
Yeah. And there's some good scores.
Somebody
on that
had
team.
8.
I think that was Baylor Ainsworth.
Okay.
Baylor Ainsworth had 8. I think Manny.
Was this Manny with 4?
Yeah, Manny with 4. And that was bizarre. He was coming off that 31-point performance.
Yeah.
And they had some good looks. They just couldn't hit.
That league is interesting this year.
It's a very weird league, yeah.
Because like Tumwater and WF West generally are like the 2 biggest, best schools.
Yeah.
And they are at the top of the standings.
Mm-hmm.
But Black Hills beat Tumwater recently. And so they're like the 3 best teams. But Black Hills got its butt kicked by Montesano.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Elma beat Black Hills pretty badly as well.
Yeah.
So, like, for our friend Forrest Worgum texted me the other day, and he was like, this might be a weird question, but what do you think it would be like if those two teams were merged, or those two leagues, the 1A and 2A leagues, were merged this year? I was like, it's interesting because if you use transitive law, you can deduce that, like, the 3 or 4 best teams in the 1A league are just as good as everybody in the 2A league, and you couldn't normally say that.
That's for sure. I think, especially watching Tumwater play. So I know the final score was big, but as the talent level didn't seem that different. Like, a lot of times when you see a blowout in a basketball game, you're like, well, this team's just ridiculous. The other team can't keep up. But this, I felt like Aberdeen missed a lot of shots that they normally make.
Yeah.
I mean, just look at Manny's scoring performance. He had 4 points as opposed to 31 the night before, or the couple days before. Yeah. So it was kind of a weird night. But they have this, Tumwater has this big 6'8" post dude who's not like super skinny. Like, he's a big 6'8" athletic looking dude. And I'm like, oh, this guy's going to be awesome. He didn't do much. Gibran actually came in and completely took him out of the game. He picked up 2 quick fouls and sat the rest of the first half. And as you noticed, he didn't have I think he had 4 points. So, I don't know. It's a very weird thing to watch. And they did have a 6'4" point guard. And while he was a great ball handler and facilitator, he didn't score more than 8 points either. Yeah. I mean, nobody really was like, oh man, that dude's just a legit. There wasn't any bucket getters. There was no bucket getters. And so Tumwater just kind of being kind of fast and athletic, and they even ran the old school flex offense. You remember the flex offense?
No.
Tenino used to run it constantly.
Well, then I hate it.
Yeah. But it's like a very old style offense too. And now you go to high school games and you see a lot of like freestyling and motion and people just like setting up one-on-ones and ISOs and stuff, and it was very odd to see this very structured, for the majority of it, flex offense, where it's just very old school, like you pass to the guard, then you go screen down, then another guy has like a post screen cutting across the middle, and it's one of those offenses that can go forever.
Yeah.
And you just don't see it very often anymore. But it was there, and it worked enough to get everybody on the roster some points.
Yeah. Well, see, and I think that's one thing too, like where Tumwater, I mean, they beat Aberdeen by 30 plus points.
Okay, somebody just said the guy on the right looks like your dad, or his dad.
Huh.
Is that your kid?
Don't think so. Huh. Am I the guy on the right, or are you the guy on the right?
I think
I'm looking at it. You're on the right.
That's true.
Yeah. So you look like someone's dad?
Apparently.
I look way more like a dad than you do.
But I'm a dad.
That's true.
Yeah.
But you look like a young kind of like I look old, is what I'm trying to say.
Not that old.
You're wearing a flat billed cap.
Just because you have a bigger beard than me? Jeez.
I have way more wrinkles in my face than you do.
Sure.
Because of all the stress.
I'll catch you quick then.
The guy with the beard.
We both have beards. Technically.
Kind of. Maybe we kind of both have beards.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Francis said apparently my face is just dirty.
That's accurate. Yeah. Also, I would say the guy on the left on my screen looks like my dad.
Gotcha.
Because I look a lot like my dad.
That's true.
So,
I have a sneaking suspicion that might be a buddy who I'm in a fantasy league with.
Okay.
Floof. I don't know. I'm thinking that it might be a buddy.
Well,
because he said you have the same color of hair your beard does, so I don't know.
Yeah, my hair color. Yeah. So I was at a few.
Oh, never mind. They say he doesn't know us. Okay.
Okay. That's what you got out of that?
Yeah.
IDK. Okay.
IDKU. Are you old? I at least got that. You usually say all the new things.
That's embarrassing. I do know what IDK means.
Yeah, okay.
His dad's bald too.
All right, it's time
It's
to talk
nice
about...
to meet you.
Yeah.
Floof.
It's nice for sure.
I think we could be friends.
or related.
Yeah.
Definitely. It's time to talk nice about our sponsors and then try and figure out who's going to get our athlete of the week.
Yeah.
So this is sponsored, shockingly, production value-wise today.
Mm-hmm.
Our producer's gone, by the way. We'll mention that again.
I would also like to add that Daniel did try to do the show with the camera sideways.
Yeah.
And the phone literally told him, no, you can't do that.
Yep, that's true.
And so we're doing it upright and sitting closer to each other than we're comfortable with.
Very, yeah.
And barely fitting in the screen.
It's true. So our sponsors, our sponsor of the Athlete of the Week, the Spivey Realty Group, very grateful that they are our sponsors for this and supporting local athletes with this. They believe in changing the community and using real estate as their tool to do that. So they love serving their neighbors, community, and their friends through the tool of real estate. And just as you went and looked up stuff about our other sponsor as we were doing it,
You're really struggling with that typing with one hand thing. But
you can go to GraceHarborRealEstate.com to learn more about Spivey Real Estate and see this very nice pictures of all of them.
They have rentals now too, right? I
They
believe.
do have rentals.
Yeah, they have homes for rent and for sale.
Yes. So buying, selling, and investing in real estate should be simple, and they believe in 100% transparency and unparalleled communication with local expertise, tech-enhanced, and top-notch service for their friends, neighbors, and community. So that is the sponsors of our Spivey Realty Group Athlete of the Week. And this week our nominations are...
We have several. And
I think if we don't add Kaya Roundtree, I don't know.
And Logan Roberts, I would say.
That's a good point.
Those were the champions. Were those... let me make sure those were the only two champions that we had. I believe it was just those two.
Going live with a phone must bring in like a different audience than we're normally getting.
Oh.
Because there's some people who are like, we don't know, which is odd.
Yeah. Actually, we had a few other, because, let's see, Juliana Smith placed first in the 100 weight class. And then Kaya Roundtree took first. And I think on the boys' side, Logan Roberts was the only first. So we had 3 first place wrestlers. I think definitely having Roundtree and Roberts, it was specifically noted that those were 2 really difficult weight classes.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Having those 2 in the mention for Athlete of the Week definitely needs to be in consideration. The nominations that we have, and Daniel, you could... What?
Sorry, there's some weird messages, and then Francis just playing into it.
You know what? He's making fun of me about hot and spicy spam too. Like, so here's what happened.
Okay.
The other day when
good to know that no matter what we do, you can still take us off the rails, however a show is.
So I went to a basketball game the other day to watch my son play, varsity game between Montesano and Hoquiam.
Right.
My frenemy, Francis, has a son who plays for Hoquiam. And so we decided we'd hang out together and watch. And then our other friend also came and watched the game with us. I won't share his name because he enjoys his privacy. But we were all the 3 of us watching the game together. Okay. And my mom was there, and she had like, I don't even remember how she got it, but she had like this can of hot and spicy spam. It was something she had at home. Okay. So she had texted me before, like, I love spam. Yeah. So she texted me, and she's like, would you want this? And I was like, I've never tried hot and spicy, but I'm willing to give it a try. Sure, I'll take it. Yeah. So she brought it to the basketball game, and we were sitting at, like, the tables where you broadcast from. Yeah. So we were sitting up there at those tables. She gives me the spam, and I set it on the table to where when my other friend walks up, and he's like, did you just bring a can of spam? Like I was going to bust open a can of spam and just eat it as a snack during the game? No, you got to cook it.
Okay, good to know.
No, I didn't, but Francis is giving me a hard time.
I assume you normally cook it, but I didn't know if you just wanted to go with it.
Yeah. No, I didn't know. I didn't eat the spam. I wasn't going with just eating the hot and spicy spam.
Gotcha.
but it did look like I just brought a can of Spam to snack
To
on.
enjoy at a basketball game.
Yeah, as one does.
As one does.
And I watched 3 Montana basketball games this week. And Tuesday I was very annoyed.
Right.
When they lost in overtime to Hoquiam. And then Thursday I was over the moon when they beat Tenino, which really shook up the league standings as well and really helped Elma, oddly enough. Because now Elma controls its own destiny.
Yeah.
They didn't before, but now they do. They just have to win out and beat Tenino and they could be league champs.
Yep.
And then on Saturday I went to Monty at Aberdeen boys. And that game was pretty close, and there was a lot of good performances out there. Aberdeen jumped out to a 12-0 lead, I want to say.
Okay.
And they were up 19-8 after the first quarter. And then the Monty defense really locked in. They were playing a zone and doing a great job of recovering out to shooters and preventing them from every look was contested, every shot was contested. And then after scoring 19 points in the first quarter, Aberdeen scored 19 more points the whole rest of the game and ended up at 38. So it was a 52-38 win for Monty. And those are the games that I was at. The reason Delon Chan is on, and I don't know how many points he scored in that game. I'm certain he was the team leader, but I don't know how many points he scored. But I do know that in the win over Tenino, which as we already mentioned was huge, is the reason he's on this list, because in the third quarter when Monty was making its surge, he scored 14 points in that quarter.
Dang.
And he finished the game with 22. And it, Delon has a way, and you saw it when we broadcast that Elma game. Delon has a way of just kind of getting hot to where, and he has enough ways to get space that unless you're double teaming him, he can really find space and get a shot. And if he's hot, they just go down. And that was what happened in the third quarter against Tenino, and that was what helped propel them to the win. I think Anna Davis for Acosta is a very compelling nominee with a 2020 game.
Yeah, 2020 games are pretty darn rare. And then you also have Lex Stanfield with 14 steals.
And she scored 18 points in that game, too.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But again, I read that in the newspaper, and I was like, I want to just say that that's real, but I feel like I need to confirm with the coach first. So I emailed her coach, and he got back to me really quickly, and he was like, yeah. She had 14 steals, and it was amazing.
That's crazy.
And then Tyrell Hovland from North Beach had a great stat line in a win over Acosta. Had 21 points, 10 boards, 4 blocks, and 4 assists. Really stuffing the stat sheet for the Hayaks there. Did you have anybody else you wanted to throw in there as well?
Well, we mentioned the couple of wrestlers, Kaya Roundtree and Logan Robert.
Yeah.
Is it Roberts? Roberts, yeah. Both of them, I think, are deserving of nominations as well.
I would say the all-state football players too, but I already put out posts to recognize them. So.
Yeah. I think.
Sorry, guys.
That in itself is recognition. So, what is the WSFCA? By
it's
the way?
the Washington State Football Coaches Association.
Oh,
so the way I understand this is that the Associated Press used to do all-state football teams, and they would put them out every year. And a few years ago, I don't know if it was a COVID thing or exactly how it happened, or if it's just like the general weakening of newspapers across the nation, they stopped doing it.
Gotcha.
So we haven't had all-state teams for a couple years, and the Coaches Association decided, hey, in each classification, we can put a panel together of coaches, and they can create all-state teams.
Nice. That's
so
awesome.
This is people who actually see the kids play and know the sport and know their classification, and these guys, these coaches are putting together all-state teams.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That holds so much more weight to me. And
yeah.
I don't know, because I saw random acronym that I didn't recognize, and I was like, what does this mean?
Yes, it's the Coaches Association.
That's awesome.
So, do you have a way you're leaning on Athlete of the Week?
I do.
If I'm going to be honest, I lean wrestlers.
Really?
Partly because reading the stories that we got about how they got to their first place finishes.
Yeah.
And also, this was a really,
that
big
tournament was huge.
It was huge. There was a lot of teams there.
Yeah.
And in addition to there being, I think, 17 schools, they were going up against 3A, 4A athletes, and people who are ranked in the top 10.
A defending state champ.
Yeah. So I feel like, to me, I lean wrestling a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, I always want to lean Delon Chan.
I was leaning Anna Davis.
Yeah.
Before you said that.
Mm-hmm.
The 2020 game is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing.
But you're right. The size of the schools those wrestlers were going up, and Anna has the de-escalator I talked about last time when it was, not a close game.
Yeah.
So that hurts a little bit there. And gosh, Kaya Roundtree and Logan Roberts. And then should we go both wrestlers?
Yeah, we could do a
split it up because Kaya took out a defending state champ. Or do we go both?
I kind of like the idea of having, because it's there's one from the boys team and one from the girls team, so we could do one of each and just do it together.
I feel like you're just weaseling your way into another Monty word.
No, Daniel.
But seeing that, yeah.
No.
Yeah,
I would never do that.
Pretty sure you're like 100% exactly what you're doing. Again, I've lost complete control of what the comments are doing.
No, Rob said there was no one around to compile the list from the AP for state.
Gotcha.
So yeah, it was kind of just like the general weakening
of the AP, of the Associated Press.
Yeah.
That's a bummer. But
it's weird, even trying to find state rankings. There used to be Associated Press state rankings for football all the time, and they're just either they don't do them, or they only do them a couple times a year, or they do them and they don't get published anywhere. I don't know, but a lot of that stuff has been going away.
Right. So are we good with... Yeah, I know, there's some weird comments. I don't understand what's going on. I'm good with it, though. I'm good with...
Wrestlers?
I'm good with wrestlers.
All right. Bulldog wrestlers.
Andrew's going to be upset with me that I let this happen.
I feel like
I got tricked into this.
No, people went out and performed.
That's true.
Okay.
The comments are so weird.
Shout out to the kid who plays Fortnite.
Yeah. The weird thing is, it still only says there's 7 people watching, but I swear there's been more people commenting.
Yeah.
All right. The kid that plays Fortnite, you finally gave him a shout out. Persistence is key there.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So we're going with Kaya Roundtree and Logan Roberts for their impressive performance. What's the name of this tournament? Did we get a name of what it was?
Yeah, let me see.
But massive tournament, ton of huge schools, and they both took titles in their weight classes and took down some extremely awesome competition along the way.
At Auburn Mountain View.
Okay.
Yeah.
Big school.
Yeah.
All right. Kaya Roundtree and Logan Roberts.
Congratulations to those Bulldog wrestlers.
You are our Spivey Realty Athlete of the Week. Spivey Athletes of the Week. Again, Monty kids. I'm pretty sure you just snuck that in there somehow.
No.
We already talked about the boys box score earlier. I think that's going to do it for our show.
Okay.
Which is probably good because I don't know what's going on in the comment section.
Yeah, it's getting weird.
It's getting weird in there. Yeah. All right. So,
want to hear a dad joke I made up today?
You made one up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why should you always ask a pirate if your medication is expired?
Why?
Because they're experts in pill aging.
Oh, so for my co-host, Justin, everybody's father, Domashevitz.
And my co-host, Daniel, you snuck a couple of Bulldogs in there, Hargrove.
And our trusty producer, not so trusty today, Andrew Gross.
What did he say in the comments? Good grief?
Good grief.
Yeah.
Andrew, good grief, Gross. You've been listening to the Scrimmage.
Bye.
Bye. How do I stop this thing now?
Now who's the boomer?
I'm the boomer now. I don't know how to stop it. Are you sure you want to stop streaming? Yes.